Your first hire, that is the key role that will change your business.
Let's talk about that today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast. And now your host, Jano and Matt Emerson. Welcome everyone to the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where we align, connect, and prosper. This is episode 366, and you can find all the show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Jano I always enjoy it when we circle back around and start talking about one of our original courses, team building. And this is such a crucial part of that process in order for you to really be able to thrive and build that foundation to really grow and take your business to another level. So this is going to be a good conversation again today.
And it completely is, and this applies to any kind of a business, to be honest. We are going to give real estate specifics, but whether you're in the real estate industry as a mortgage professional, or anything related, escrow, obviously sales, real estate teams and so forth, or anything that you're doing, if you are having a lot of, doesn't even matter what you do, if it's customer service front, there's a lot of tasks to running a business, and some type of an admin is the critical first hire, so you can delegate and focus on the things that you're best at. So that's what we're going to talk through today. It really is, for real estate people, it is not hiring an agent. That is not the first hire. It's getting an admin in some capacity. So we will walk you through how to do that. And we want to let you know right up front, we have compiled something that we've had in our free downloads area of WBNLcoaching.com in the downloads area for quite a while. And it's called the Real Estate Team Builder Checklist, an interactive workbook. Will you pull it up real quick, Matt, while I just talk about it for a second?
I sure will.
And so this is covering way more than just the hiring of an admin, but just to give you an idea, it's like a 15-page document that's meant to be a checklist for people building teams of everything that you really need to cover to ensure that you're putting operations in place and building it from the ground up the right way. Or if you already have a team, you're going back and you're working on SOPs and the whole 9 yards. Now, this is completely free. And of course, we have our signature program beyond Real Estate Sales Builder is Real Estate Team Builder. And we will have information in our show notes for that entire program where you can get it. It is turnkey. It has just 100 plus documents, 6 modules. Module 2 of this particular training that we're talking about covers in detail some of the things we're going to touch on today on hire. It's all your admin. The whole module 2 of Team Builder is how to set everything up from roles, responsibilities, the kind of team structure to hiring your admin, and then even how to identify the right agent. So a lot of great stuff. Go grab that download. Okay, so let's dive in.
So here's the deal. Here's the thing. Your job, and I hope you're listening to this because this really is the thing. Your job is to generate business, to build relationships, and to close deals.
Yes.
Correct? But when you're buried in paperwork, you're juggling your calendar, you're dealing with all the listing logistics and the transaction management, you're not doing any of those things you need to be doing to really grow your business. So a great admin gives you your time back. They allow you to focus on dollar productive activities, which is the whole key to the thing. That's why you're doing this. It's not about just getting tasks off your plate, though. It's about creating structure so that you can actually scale your team and your business. This hire will help you become more consistent, more professional, and most importantly, more profitable.
Excellent. So let's break it down. What a real strong admin, and this hiring of the right person is key, because you have to be clear about what it is that you want them to do. I'll get to that in a moment.
Right.
Let's just break down what can somebody do for you that will take things off the plate, specifically in a real estate scenario. Your calendar, your daily priorities, transaction coordination, all the paperwork from contract to close on every type of transaction you're doing, listing support, marketing, scheduling the photos, all these tasks that just take so much time.
Right.
Managing your CRM, you get new leads, putting them in, attaching them to your different follow-ups based on how you run your team, all of your social media management, office operations, right? So when you're doing all of that yourself, you're not in your zone of genius, which Matt just said is generally working with the buyers and sellers, or whatever your business is, working with customers and clients, making the sales. All these other things can be delegated in the big picture of it, right? So your first admin isn't your assistant necessarily. If you hire the right person,
That's
they
right.
really become an operations manager, a potential to grow in your organization if you make that right hire. For us personally, in the real estate side with Cosmo, we have used transaction coordinators. That is an excellent way to get started, clearly. But we have a virtual admin, a virtual assistant, who completely does all of our social media after we post it to TikTok first. So we want it to go across all the other platforms. We built a simple system of how we upload it to Drive, and we don't have to worry and take the extra time to get it on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all that. That has been well worth it, and it's starting to paid. We're starting to see the benefits of that because we are getting more leads, not just from TikTok, but from Instagram and YouTube.
The whole consistency thing. So you might be asking yourself, how do I actually know when I'm ready to get that admin? So, we do like to ask little questions or to post, things for you to think about here. So if any of these apply to you, the red flags start going up. If you're closing more to 2 to 3 deals a month consistently, so you've got a lot of stuff going on, but you still want to be out there getting new business, right? Because it's all about the prospecting when you're trying to do the productive money-making things. If you're starting to feel overwhelmed or you're reactive too much and you're just feeling like your whole plate is getting really, really full. If you're dropping the ball on details or follow-up, which can certainly happen when you're juggling all of that. When you hit your time ceiling or your income ceiling, and you just aren't feeling that growth anymore, maybe it's time to start, spend a little bit to make a little bit more. It's time then. So the whole point is you don't want to wait until you're actually drowning. You need to be thinking about these things and being cognizant of these things as your business is growing, because you hire here to stay afloat, to prevent you from drowning, and so you can actually swim faster. So this isn't about adding additional expense onto your ledger. It's an investment in your future freedom.
Yeah, I want to speak to that because I know in coaching team leaders and agents for many, many years, that is the biggest drawback for people. They don't feel like they are going to be able to handle the expense of an admin. And I say, based on what everything Matt just said, if you're closing more than 2 transactions a month consistently, then you are losing money, is what I want to say. So I understand if business is slow and you only have 1 deal every once in a while, then maybe, there's maybe a full-time admin is not the answer. But if you don't have somebody helping you in some capacity, you really are paying yourself, at, $15-20 an hour when you really make a lot more money when you actually make a sale. And a lot of times I will break that down and show people that you're doing 20% of the tasks in real estate to 25% literally can be delegated to somebody, which would free you up to have more time to do other things, to have balance, but also to go out and make another sale. It really is a leap of faith, but it is an investment, right? Not a burden. That's all being said, big if you hire the right person, which is what our course really helps you do. Too many agents over the past have reached out to us that we've ended up coaching who are clients of us for the team builder because they didn't understand how to hire the right people, and they're in over their head and they just grab somebody and they didn't go through a great process, and it just caused more challenges, which honestly, I've met so many agents just like, nobody can do it as well as I can. It's just easier for me to do it. And that's kind of a cop out if you just, in my opinion, because you just maybe didn't have the right tools on how to hire the right people,
That's right.
Which is what we know. All right. So let's talk about how do you find the right admin, right? It starts with being clear about what you want them to do. So write a clear job description. Again, in our course, we literally have like 5 or 6 job descriptions written for you for transaction coordinator, admins, an office manager, listing manager. You could take all that, the pieces of that'll help you put together what you want, right?
Or use your AI, because that will certainly help
you. You know what? We wrote that course well before having AI.
Well before.
Whole other conversation. So be clear about what you want them to do. So one of the things I do is we have in our course, in that team builder course, we have literally the beginnings of an operations manual that says everything we do A to Z for listing and for a sale, and then all your admin like marketing and so forth. So if you have a list like that, that's a great place to start, a checklist. When you go down that list, and if it's a detailed checklist of everything we do from once we make a sale, once we take a listing, you could highlight the areas of what could you take off your plate. That's a great way to start diving into the details of what you want the person to do. Now, you need that when you interview because you want to find out, can they handle these skills?
Yeah.
Now, it's not just skills. It is literally also personality and the overall type of person that you're going to hire. In our training, we recommend using DISC or some other personality style. You might consider doing that. So be clear. What are you looking for? People who are, in my opinion, you always want to have people who have initiative. They're not sitting around waiting for you to tell them what to do. That's just going to cause you craziness and more stress because you have to keep them not entertained, but constantly monitoring them. So you probably want detail oriented. Do you want them organized? Yes. Do they need to be tech savvy? Probably. Yes. Are they self-starters? That's the initiative I'm talking about. Calm under pressure. Remember, you're not hiring a runner. You're hiring a builder, somebody who's going to help you put the systems in place, take things off your plate, and jump right in with hopefully not a huge training time, especially if they've had some experience, right? Right. So you're going to be able to get somebody to build all those systems and checklists because probably you don't have them. That's the other thing that we always find out. Mm-hmm. So let me give you a couple of ideas of how to find these admins. So now that you've got it all together, the checklist or rather the job description, and be really clear, we go into great detail in Module 2 of the Team Builder program and give you examples of where to put all this stuff. But always start with your own database. There may be somebody in your sphere of influence or database who would be a great admin, or maybe somebody that's a past client has a family member or someone who would love to be able to have a full-time job or maybe go part-time to full-time, right? Post that job description and add on places like LinkedIn. Really, LinkedIn, Indeed, local Facebook groups. There's all kinds of those places that you can go do all that. And we go into details on that. Reach out to former transaction coordinators or assistants. You just never know. You could reach out to all your vendor partners because to let them know you're looking for someone because people who do escrow and mortgage may know of somebody, other agents. You could reach out to other agents that you know to say, hey, are you aware? You might want to look at maybe going temp to perm. Maybe you go full-time to part-time. Sometimes hard to find a part-time. People aren't always looking for part-time. You might want to consider virtual assistants, similar to what we do, where we just have them doing social media. A lot of times your company will have a transaction coordinator. That's completely a great place to start. Now you're not paying a salary. You pay a fee when you have a successful closing and they do certain things for you. If your company doesn't have a transaction coordinator, there are a ton of independent contractor transaction coordinators out there. Just Google it. Get your AI to help you. I bet you could find some. All right. So that's the overview of what do you do to start getting clear about who to hire and where.
Yes, let's talk a little bit once you get them hired, how you actually train and retain and really make them your rock star admin. Because remember, the whole point is it's important. The hiring process is super important, but you once you hire, you have to really onboard, and onboarding, and then that continual touch and follow up down the line is really the key to making that whole system work. So here's how you can actually efficiently and effectively do that. Use a checklist and SOPs from day one when you're doing that. Jen already kind of alluded to that already, that you need to have that structure in place. If you don't have an SOP, this is the perfect time for you to actually start building your SOP, because your admin can be a key helper or a partner in building that process out. As the admin is going through processes and steps and how they do things and how you operate your business, make sure that you're getting all of that written down. So that is such a key thing. If you don't have that SOP, this is a perfect time to get it built for you. But if you already have one, make sure that you're going through that SOP so you don't miss any steps and they're trained correctly on how to do their job from day one, because it's so important that the expectation is set and the tasks are all of the tasks are put in front of somebody so they can effectively do their job. It's really great that important that you schedule daily or weekly check-ins with your admin for feedback and support. Just let them know that you're there for them or answering questions that they have, because they're going to have a lot of questions because they're walking into something that you already know the back of your hand, right? So be there to help guide them and build them and mentor them along the way. Empower them to own their role. Give them the flexibility. Don't micromanage your admin. right? You want them to be able to be independent thinkers and all the things that Jen, talked about, and the qualities that you're looking for in that admin. Let them come out, right? Let them actually show you the strength in those qualities that you wanted to have in this position. So micromanagement can be a really, really hard thing and can chase that admin away pretty quickly if you're on them too much. They need to have that flexibility to help build the business, and that really goes to it. Create a culture of trust and shared wins, give feedback, and then grow together. Let them be a part of your process. And when you do that, it's going to make a big difference. You want this person to grow with you, right? This is a position, I'm telling you, you do not want to be replacing every 6 months or every year. You want this position to be something that actually can grow within and give the person a career path. Many agents we've coached have as admins have eventually become operation managers or team leaders within the company because they know the company and how the company works so well. But that starts with intentional onboarding. Yes,
and this little adage of slow to hire, quick to fire is true. So if you take the time to really get clear about what you're looking for and go through an interview process, which we detail we really have that detailed out, including interview questions, exactly how to handle it, giving people a test, because Matt just said it. If you have to micromanage, if you hire somebody and you have to micromanage them, you better just part ways.
Yeah.
They need to have initiative and be a self-starter. And depending on what your goals are for your team or broker, however you want to look at this, you want to hire someone who could grow into that position. That, not saying you need to, but that is a possibility, especially if you're just getting started and you need somebody. This happens all the time in our coaching, one-on-one, happening right now, as a matter of fact. Do you have the right person on board who can help work with you and see the vision of where you're going and is willing to put the time and effort into, because you're trying to motivate them to say, here's what I'm going to pay you now, but if you can help me get here and we can put our SOPs in place, start creating the systems, let's work on that. Then, when I interviewed you, you said you would like to do the admin, but you see yourself being a director of operations, or maybe you want to go become a team leader, or, within your company, because maybe you have a team of teams. There's endless possibilities. If somebody just says, I just want to be the admin, I never want to sell, I don't want to get I have a license, but I want to keep it over here. But they have to have those other qualities. Otherwise it's a drag on you, It's really, really so important. So this first hire is got to be the right hire. And sometimes people can do well in the interview process and then they don't really show up. That's that whole slow to hire, quick to let them go, and give people a time period and so forth. But be honest, be able to communicate and give that positive feedback to say you're just not the right fit. Okay. Right. So, but sometimes you just have to coach people and help them, but you cannot get people to be self-starters if they're not, or to show you that initiative. Right. So this is so important. This is the most important part. I really do believe you can double your income. You can significantly increase your income, if not double it, if you have the right person in place and you get through that process of getting them onboarded and they take over, and then you're just supervising at this high level. So much can happen, right? So let's just kind of bring this to a close, right?
Yeah, I love that whole slow to hire, quick to fire thing. Jen and I had the opportunity to work with someone who was quick to hire and quick to fire, and that is chaos. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is that slow to hire is so important, that you go through the process it's all about finding the right person. Because if you get that right person in there, you don't have to worry about that quick to fire thing, hopefully, right? If you've asked all the right questions and everything. So, because it can be that a revolving door is chaos in your company. That's all there is to that. So
there is, and it's a drain on resources.
Everybody, really. So if you're serious about building a sustainable business, you need support, and your admin is your foundation.
100%. And so just to close out, if you're really serious about wanting to, you don't have to build a team, by the way. You can just be a solo agent. Yeah. And you really, to get the benefit of everything we talked about today, having that admin in some capacity is what's going to allow you to have more freedom, more peace of mind, more balance in your life, and be more productive. So grab that checklist. Real Estate Team Builder Checklist and Interactive Workbook is what it's called. It's over there at WBNLcoaching.com. Click the downloads button. And also, while you're there, click the Teams button up in the top of our WBNL Coaching site. You will there's a bunch of content on there. You can download a free overview. tell you all the details. We have a video there. We'll walk you through what's in each of the modules. It's a lot. It's very much a comprehensive, we like to call it a turnkey program to build a real estate team. I don't think there's anything else out there like it on the market to help you understand everything from how do I build a team? What kind of thing do I want it to be, to this hiring process, not for just admins, any kind of administrative position, but your agents, how to select the right agents once you know your team, and then how to set your systems up and how to recruit and coach them, how to retain, and how to create an exit strategy. Those are very briefly what we cover. A lot more in between, right, Matt? Anything to add to that as far as the team builder?
No, I think you've got it. But just go over to Wonder or WBNLcoaching.com. On that teams page, there's a ton of information about it. Yeah. So it really gives you an in-depth. You know what you're getting into when you're there. But it is soup to nuts. There's all the stuff that you need.
So do we want to?
Important to build that foundation, I guess, is really the.
Now listen, if anybody made it this far, do we want to offer some kind of an incentive for? I don't know what our pricing is on that program right now.
Is it real estate?
Yeah.
Team builder?
Yeah.
$9.97.
It's $9.97.
I'm gonna go look.
I know. I'm just trying to remember because sometimes we're running promotions and maybe we haven't. But it is a $9.97 program. But I know that if you've gotten this far, then Matt is going to have a discount for you, and you'll have to just go look at the notes at WBNL Coaching or the podcast notes, or he'll have it in the. If you're watching this on YouTube. Just scroll down and you'll find a discount code. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be a surprise for you.
Surprise!
Okay? Surprise! You're going to get a great deal.
That's awesome. And also,
go ahead.
While we're talking about courses, we would be remiss if we didn't tell you that we just launched our new Clarity series as a brand new course. We just launched it last week, and this is really actually a good first. This is a good first step before you even go into the hiring an agent, hiring an admin process, because you want to make sure that you're clear and grounded and you have your head on straight yourself. So this Clarity series is actually a 3-part series. We dropped the first module just this last week. It's going to have 3 modules altogether over the summer. We're going to drop another module in July, and then the last one in August. But the key to this is this course right now is $22. And in this first module, which is called Rooted in the Unknown, you get a 7-day set of audio and video breath work. It's a reflection guide, kind of a whole mindset and meditative areas, so you can really start being grounded and get in your own zone. We have a 7-day reset journal that you can follow. That's got a ton of prompts, ways that you can journal, get things out of your head and onto the paper. And we also have a 7-day micro movement guide that will get your body kind of moving as well. Super easy things. They're actually even seated micro movements, so you don't have to do. It's not exercises, believe me. It's not an exercise routine. It's just to get your blood flowing. So all that's over actually at wanderingmylost.com or WBNLcoaching.com. Just go down to the downloads button. Well, actually, that's on courses. Go to your course button and it's in there as well. So check that out. Like I said, we always have to be talking about new things that we are, and this isn't just for real estate agents. This is for anybody that's out there.
Absolutely. And the last thing as we close out, if you just need to talk about what do I need to do, offer a 30. Generally ends up being about 45 minutes or longer, free consultation. You can just reach out. There's a form on our website. We'll set up a time to talk. You can share what your goals are. We can help you. We have something for you. Whether you're just starting a business, whether it's related to real estate or not. Clearly, if you're into real estate, you need to learn more about real estate, building a team, using our training program. Just reach out to us. We're happy to sit down. That's our approach. Sit down. We want to support as many people as possible in making their real estate business successful and have some freedom and be able to maybe walk away from it one day in a very profitable way.
Yeah, all kinds of ways to connect over at WBNLcoaching.com. Right. Remember, this is episode 366. You can get all the show notes and a lot of those links over there are those show notes at WBNLpodcast.com. Getting back to our conversation today, though, that whole idea and the whole move of hiring that admin changes everything. So here's the thing. Don't wait too long to make that decision.
Exactly. We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.